Hi, I'm DKWILL. This is DKWILL Talk About It. And we're going to cover a few things in this video. Hopefully, I can squeeze it in about 10 minutes or so. Don't want to take up too much of your day. But this article here about Ripple's executive criticizes Bitcoin's technology. As many are aware, I've always had my impression of Bitcoin, we'll say. It's kind of like grandfathered in, but the technology is way too clunky and slow. Well, David Schwartz had a little bit to say about that. And that being said, much like, do you have a Nokia cell phone or do you have an iPhone? Are you taking pictures with a Polaroid or are you taking pictures with your camera on your phone? Well, XRP is set to dethrone Bitcoin according to an entrepreneur within 6 years. We'll see about that. We'll talk about that. And then we have XRP price predictions. Will it crash? Now, this article's a couple days old, but will it drop to 85 cents? Oh my goodness. I wish I had some money. If it does, that's a price that if you don't own XRP, oh my goodness, that's a very good time to get it. So let's talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. XRP is currently trading at $1.48, but we see not too long ago it dipped all the way down to about $1.10. And we're going to talk about why David Schwartz says it's a technology dead end. If you've been with me for any period of time, you know that I've had the unpopular opinion that Bitcoin is maybe not as dependable as what everyone wants, the marketing team wants you to believe. For instance, 2 years ago, taking Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs to their graves. That was 2 years ago. Bit, buy Bitcoin and get bit if you sit on it. And as you can see, my faith in Bitcoin has been dependent upon many factors that tend to head to the direction of maybe death bells are ringing for Bitcoin. Now, what did David Schwartz have to say about it? David Schwartz called it a technological dead end. David Schwartz, CTO emeritus and one of the original architects behind XRP, and quite honestly, probably with the NSA behind Bitcoin too, has called Bitcoin a technological dead end. He wasn't criticizing the price because the price is just a marketing thing anyway. He was criticizing the technology. Remember my introduction about the Nokia phones compared to the iPhones and the Android phones? It's very similar. Just because it was first doesn't mean it's the best. And if you like the content I'm providing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and then come back for more DK Will Talk About It. Are you going to go out and buy yourself a Model T Ford because that was the first one out? Absolutely not. I doubt you can even find one. And it's quite possible that sooner or later, you might not be able to find a Bitcoin either. The question was posed, David, since co-creating the XRPL, have you worked on or thought about working on developing Bitcoin again? That's a loaded question. But the answer didn't clarify anything except what we probably already believe. He had a hand in the creation of Bitcoin because he says, not really. I think Bitcoin is largely a technological dead end for the same reason the dollar is. Ooh, I think DK Will talked about the dollar dying too, did he not? The technology just doesn't seem to matter all that much to its success, at least not at the blockchain layer. So, like I've said, unless it's grandfathered in, it's very likely not going to survive. And that opinion is expressed in this article here from yesterday. XRP set to dethrone Bitcoin within 6 years. An entrepreneur says, yes, an Army veteran by the name of Patrick Riley and an XRP community influencer has drawn attention with a bold prediction. He believes XRP could overtake Bitcoin as the top cryptocurrency within 6 years. I'll be quite frank with you. It's easy to overtake the top when the top is taken off, right? Earlier, I said Bitcoin will be gone. I think maybe Dave Pena knows something we don't know. But here's the thing about it. At current prices, XRP would need to climb to roughly $22.50 per token just to match Bitcoin's market value, assuming the Bitcoin market value stays constant. But it also says that it represents a nearly 1,500% increase from today's trading levels. Let me be clear. That is not unheard of with XRP. XRP went up in the 50,000% range when it first burst onto the scene with a major move back in 2018, 2017, crossing over into 2018. So that might sound phenomenal to newcomers to the crypto market industry, but it's absolutely doable. He based it though on market trends. It's not just his opinion. He bases it on a long-term trend line. And of course, they're going to try to defend Bitcoin in the process. Currently, Bitcoin trades roughly 16 times larger than XRP by market capitalization. Even after recent market drops, it maintains deep liquidity and a strong network effect. XRP would need a combination of wider adoption, that's absolutely happening, investor confidence, those who know, and market momentum to close that gap. There are things that are going to happen that are going to create that market momentum. And one of those things is that slush fund I talked about before. But right now, they just need to get us out of the way. They say that it remains a speculative scenario. Bitcoin would need to experience a sharp decline. How about a crash? How about falling to zero, the way the man said? And XRP would need extraordinary growth. XRP is already experiencing extraordinary growth. So while they're still trying to defend Bitcoin, and don't let it sink in your brain, he has a timeline of 6 years for this shift. Personally, I'd be surprised if it was three. It's not going to take that long because the next back wall, just like years ago, I talked about the back wall for 2025 and XRP came alive. The next back wall is 2030. By 2030, this new monetary system is going to be cooking with gas, baby. It's going to be up and running, full steam ahead. And that takes us to our next article where it says, will XRP price crash soon? Will it drop to 85 cents? If it does, and you haven't believed in it yet, that is a golden opportunity. And you probably should take it if you're in a position to do so. It says XRP drop current price and analyst insights and market outlook explain. Here's what investors should do now. Okay, stop right there. It's no secret that whenever they start telling you what you should do, your spider senses should go off like mine. And then scanning this article, what I got out of this article was they are trying to subliminally impress into your mind XRP failure. Now, we can't read the article. This is DK. We'll talk about it. But it poses the question, will XRP price crash soon and will it drop to 85 cents? Golden opportunity if it does. Will XRP price crash soon and will it drop to 85 cents? Will XRP price crash soon? Are you looking at these subheadings? Will XRP drop to 85 cents? XRP to fall in the future. XRP faces key support and resistance levels. Bitcoin trends could influence XRP. Bearish outlook and potential declines. Are you picking up the feel that they want you to have? What did they tell you you should do? Investors should watch XRP's key levels. Buying near $1.30 support could limit risks, while caution is advised if the price falls below a dollar. Strong rebounds above $1.65 may indicate recovery. Monitoring Bitcoin and overall crypto trends can help make informed decisions. No, XRP number one is going to dislodge from Bitcoin. It's going to disconnect. Okay, and they're telling you to wait for it to be high to buy. Totally contrary to investment concept. Let me be clear. This is not a 50-cent lottery ticket or a dollar lottery ticket or a scratch off. This is investing. And investing, you don't buy with the expectation of immediate return. You have to have patience. But they're saying buying near $1.30 could limit your risk, while you should be cautious if the price falls below a dollar. No, you should turn into the hog I advise you not to be. Remember, pigs eat and hogs get slaughtered? If it falls below a dollar, you should consider selling your wife and kids. Like one of my other videos did, or your pet. I mean, if it falls before a dollar, they're telling you to be cautious, but you buy when there's blood in the streets. And that's why when they start telling you what you should do, they're telling you the opposite. So what could happen? They're saying when it rebounds above $1.65, that's when you can have confidence and buy it some more. And guess what they'll do? They'll figure out a way to churn it some more and take some more of your money. But I'm not an investment advisor. Here's what I would do. If I saw XRP drop to under $1, I would buy. I would buy XRP under $1. And if it went to 50 cents, I wouldn't care. And if I could, I would buy XRP at 50 cents. Now, I've been here before and I went through it with my friends when they were scribbling at 22 and 23 cents. And I told them what I've told you so many times in my videos, people. Don't jump over dollar bills to pick up pennies. Because if it does rebound to $1.65, they're going to either churn it or they're going to get you to hold off while they scoop it up real cheap and the people who have weak hands sell out. And then they're going to blow it up where it won't see $1.65. They'll blow it up to maybe back where it belongs, up there in the 3s and 4s before it takes off even further. And then what they do by that is they limit how many of them you can get. But at under $1, it's a 1-for-1, baby. You got $100 and you own 100 XRP. You follow me? And 100 XRP becomes $165 at $1.65. And it becomes $200 at $2, $300 at $3, tripling your money, however much money you invest. See, they don't want you to do that because at 85 cents, what does it become? I said 10 minutes. I'm about 12 or 13 at this point. But I've talked about it. You buy when there's blood in the streets. They're going to use Bitcoin as the beacon to get your attention. They're going to make you think that every other cryptocurrency is going to follow Bitcoin's course because maybe Bitcoin is going to crash after a fake out. But XRP is not dependent upon Bitcoin's price action anymore. They want you to believe it is, but it's not. XRP's price is dependent on institutions getting their hands on as much as they can in a overwhelming demand for it as a backbone, as a bloodline for a new monetary system. So, don't believe the hype. I'm DK Will, and this is DK Will Talk About It, and I've talked about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.